chapter 1. Nehemiah chapter 1. Good? Good? Is it all right back there, Brother Charlie? You're standing next to a fan. Can you hear me, brother? All right, I might just go to a handheld if I need to. Test. What do you say? Should I keep this, Brother Matt, or do something else? Good? Sure? All right, Nehemiah chapter 1. And I am excited about preaching tonight. I love preaching this service. And so I know a lot of you had a lot going on. Please focus tonight. Let's allow the Lord to speak to us. And I really want to challenge your hearts tonight and allow the Lord to do something. I want to set the pace. I've been asking the Lord to set the pace. I'm going with a hand. All right? Okay? That's good. Good job. All right, how's that? Test. Is that a little bit better? Yeah. We're good. Hey, look up here. We're fine. All right, you're not worried. We're all good, and I want to be a help to you tonight. Last week, this time, I was getting on a flight in Asheville, and I had a nightmare trip. Has anybody ever been on one of those nightmare trips where you had to fly, Brother Scott, and you had some of that, man? And look, I usually fly out of Charlotte, North Carolina. That's where I always fly. I was going down to Gulfport, Mississippi, so near Alabama, actually. And I had a terrible experience. Now, girls, the story I'm about to tell is real facts. But it's probably going to make you want to vomit. You guys still want to hear it? I mean, it's camping, right? You good? Boys, true facts that I'm about to tell you, but it's probably going to want to make you vomit. Are we good with this? We all right? All right, so I fly out of Asheville. I'm super late because of storms that were coming through. And if you're thinking about where Asheville is west of Charlotte. I'm just grabbing a little flight from Asheville to Charlotte. I'm going to be in Charlotte for about an hour. Then I'm grabbing a flight from Charlotte down to Gulfport, Mississippi. Storm comes through. I'm in Asheville, so it delays me, and I miss my flight out of Charlotte. So instead of going to Gulfport, they're going to fly me to Mobile, Alabama. I've got to grab a car and drive down to the Gulf Coast at that point. So it's been a terrible night. They're delaying. The storms are coming through. What passed through Asheville and messed me up? And then just followed my airplane pretty much down to Charlotte and delayed. I flew to Charlotte about midnight that night. All right? So I'm sitting in the Charlotte airport. Anybody like Chinese food? I love Chinese food. God bless. If you are Chinese, God bless you this week. Afterwards, I'll give you a hug. I love some of that General Tso's chicken. Do you like General Tso's chicken better than sesame chicken? Yeah, whatever. All right. So I'm standing in line at Panda Express. That's not even like real Chinese food. You know what I mean? It's not even real Chinese food. It's made out of panda bears. I mean, come on. Everybody knows that's not real Chinese food. All right. So I'm standing in line. There's this guy in front of me, and he's like super old. He's like in his 50s. You know. All right. So this gentleman, he's standing there, and we're just waiting in this line. Now Charlotte's got all these storms passing through, man, and everybody's held up. We're kind of on edge, and no flights are going anywhere. Every time it would lightning, they would bring everybody from outside inside, so they couldn't have those guys on the runway with those little orange flickering things and all that kind of stuff. So we just sat there and went on. Everybody's on edge a little bit. I find it funny. I laugh at people, you know, that they think they're going to die because they've got to stay there for a couple hours. So I'm standing behind this guy. We're about to get our panda here, and we're standing in line. And man, he pulls up, and man, he is smooth. Everybody say smooth. You know what I mean? When I'm 50 years old and old, I want to be smooth too. By the way, I am 40, so I'm getting there. All right. I'm sorry if you're a little bit old. I'm standing in line behind this guy. True story. And when he walks up to the counter, there's a much younger lady behind the counter. And he says, "What's up, girl?" I'm like, "What's going on, brother?" Sound like me the way I got this picture. He's like, "What up, girl?" She like responds back with that sharp stuff. What? He's like, "What's going on? Is that chicken fresh?" She's like, "It's fresh." She's like, "Go ahead, I'll take 3 helpings of that." Listen, this girl's like 30 years younger than him. She just dumped the panda on his plate. I'm like, what in the world, man? She's just going at it. He's talking, man. He's buttering up, asking about her day. Honey, I bet it's been rough. Why don't you put a little bit more of that chicken right there on it? She's just like talking to him, putting it on and putting it on it. This Now, Kentucky, do you know what a tooth is? Yeah, okay, forget it. I'll tell you about it later. I'll show you after the show, right? So this man, I'm like, oh, gosh, all right. And so he gets his spoon and he's moving on along. The lady behind the counter, she comes to me, she goes back to like, I hate your everyone, let's get out of here. I'm like, can I have a rice bowl with some of that chicken on it, whatever. So we move down the line, and there is a Hindu lady at the Chinese place. Go figure, I have no idea. She's running the cash register. And this woman, as she's running the cash register, this man is talking to her, and he kind of gets done. He scoots to my left. Here we go. He scoots to my left, and there's a cup sitting in front of me. Just a cup sitting there. I thought it was his. And I turned around and I said, sir, is this yours? And he goes, no, man, but he's been looking to get free stuff all night. So I mean, the dollar signs, I see them go off. He's like, no, but man, if nobody's going to take it, I'll take it. So I said, all right, that sounds good. Now, Ronnie, here we go. I hand him the cup. And what do you politely say when someone hands you something for free? What do you say? Right, all right? As he is saying thank you, all right? You know how your tongue kind of comes out from between your teeth, all right, at that point? He says thank you, and I'm in the middle of saying this. Well, and my mouth opens. Does anybody want to guess what happened next? Something flew out of his mouth, and I'm saying this. I'm going, you're wet, and all of a sudden, I see it coming in slow motion. And I'm like, oh my Lord. And I was somewhere in the middle. And whatever came out of that man's mouth landed in my mouth. I don't know if it was his last tooth. I don't know if it was like lunch. But I'm telling you, in the body or out of the body, I blacked out. I don't know what happened next. I was so stunned. I was like the Hindu woman is worshiping Buddha. He is excited about his drink, and I'm I'm just so disgusted at that point. So, long and short of it is, I don't know, that is disgusting. All right, Nehemiah chapter 1, here we go. I was just trying to be nice. I was saying, well, amen. And that is a true story landed in my mouth. I cannot believe I'm telling you that story tonight. Amen. Nehemiah chapter 1. Let's preach on whatever it takes tonight. Verse 1 says this. The words of Nehemiah, the son of Hakaliah. Did I say that right? Bible scholars, I've tried to pronounce that all day. And it came to pass in the month of Chislew, in the 20th year, as I was in Shushan the palace, that Hanani, one of my brethren, came, and he and certain men of Judah. And I asked them concerning, now listen carefully, concerning the Jews that had escaped, which were left of the captivity, and concerning Judah. Nehemiah here, he is in captivity. 150 years before this, the enemy had stormed in and taken them captive. He's now out of his homeland, and as he is here, some visitors have come from his homeland, and he is trying to find out what is going on back at the homeland, back in Jerusalem, verse 3. And they said unto me, the remnant that are left of the captivity, there the province, are in great affliction and reproach. I'm not sure, young person, look up here tonight. I'm not sure if you're not aware of it, but the generation that you're living in, that's a good description of them. They are under great affliction and reproach. Young person, there needs to be something about you that says this. I'm going to serve God, whatever it takes, because I realize that God has called me to this generation now, and this generation living in darkness, God has sent me to them. Young person, your public school is your current mission field. Do you understand me on that? Yep. Your family that God's put you in, that's the mission field God's dropped you in at this point. And what's going to happen is this. It's just like with Nehemiah, there was a real enemy that had come Nehemiah took it personal. And it came to pass that when I heard these words, that I sat down and wept, mourning certain days, fasted and prayed before the God of heaven. There's an incredible prayer that now, and tonight, for time's sake, I won't read through all of those, but Nehemiah asked to be the one to help. Ask God to help his people. Ask God for something to make a difference. Look at verse 1. And it came to pass in the month, listen, stay with me. The reading of the Word of God, the most important part of the message. I'll get to my sub-points and my points. Get the story from the Word of God. It came to pass in the month, listen, in the 20th year of Artaxerxes the king, that wine was brought before him. And I took up the wine and gave it unto the king. This man had been given some influence. Nehemiah had, you could almost consider him to be in the secret service of the king. What he would do is when, before the king would drink of his cup of wine. Now listen, a man in captive, I want you to get this, a man in captivity, here he is, one of the right-hand men to the king, that just before the king would drink his wine, just in case if someone was trying to kill him, trying to put poison in his cup, Nehemiah would take the first sip so that Nehemiah would die before the king would die. Look at verse 2. Actually, let's get back up verse 1, to the end of verse 1. Now I had not been before time sad in his presence. Wherefore the king said unto me, Why is thy countenance sad, seeing thou art not sick? This is nothing else but sorrow of heart. The king was picking up on this. By the way, watch this. The king is reading Nehemiah. Nehemiah's just gotten done in the previous chapter doing what? Praying to God. Teenagers, listen to me. Asking God to use your life. God hears that prayer. Every bit of what you do on this altar this week, every decision that you make. Look here. I did the funeral today for Brother Alan Young. I know that Brother Alan no longer resides in Nebo, North Carolina. And today, just as we reside here, Brother Alan Young is in the presence of the Lord today. And there is a real God. There is a real enemy, yes. But there is a real God that hears every prayer that you pray to him. You say, but there's been a distance between me and God for some time. He would hear your prayer tonight if you came to him and said, God, I'm sorry for that sin. I'm sorry for that distance that I've allowed. God, forgive me for that. Clean it up. Young person, God would not only forgive you, he would hear your prayer, watch, and listen to your request. And here he is, just gone before God, heavy-hearted about his people. And next thing you know, God begins to intervene. This is not part of the message, but let me ask you something tonight. Just what do you need God to intervene in your life? What's that need that plagues your mind? You thinking, man, when I leave here, it's so good to be at teen camp. When I leave here, I've got this problem to go back to, and I've got this situation to go back to. Young person, what is that? Do you know that there's a real God that'll hear that prayer? And not only will he hear that prayer, but he will influence in that situation. Here's God influencing the king. Why are you sad? You're never sad, man. Usually you sit that cup, you're up. By the way, can I say this as well? And I got to get on with it. Lots of sub-points in this message. Can I say this as well? Sounds like Nehemiah had the joy of the Lord in his life as well. Christians, we shouldn't be sad, beat up, beat down all the time. You understand? Christians, we should have a good, teenagers, listen to me. We should have a good spirit about ourselves.
Yes, sir.
I got to read on. Come on now. Quit distracting me. Verse 3. And said unto the king, watch this. Let's back up. I'm sorry. Wherefore the king said unto me, why is it, verse 2, why is thy countenance sad, seeing that thou art not sick? This is nothing else but sorrow of heart. Then I was very sore afraid. Fear struck his heart. Verse 3. And he said unto the king, let the king live forever. Here Nehemiah is now talking back to the king. Why should not my countenance be sad? When the city, the place of my father's sepulchre, lieth waste, and the gates thereof are consumed with fire. Notice that it keeps referring to the gates and the walls. What had happened is 150 years before this, when the enemy had swept in, not only had they broken down the walls and the gates, but they had destroyed the temple. 100 years after that, so just 50 years before this time period, what had happened is the temple had been restored at this point, but the walls and the gates still sat being able to do that, kept the enemy out, and they were able to do that. Much more along in the story. I won't get to all those details tonight, but I want you to look down at verse 4. Then the king said unto me, for what dost thou make request? The lad didn't even have it this good. This wasn't just 3 wishes. This was just, hey, what do you want me to do for you? And I love his response. Listen, he didn't shoot from the hip. Had he already prayed? Absolutely. What was the next move he did? He realized that God was intervening. So what does it say at the end of verse 4? So I prayed to the God of heaven. He paused for just a moment and he prayed. I almost wonder, Brother Tony, if he didn't stop for a minute, realizing what God was done, and he didn't pray for a moment and say, God, thank you. Thank you. Look at verse 5. And I said unto the king, if it please the king, and if thy servant had found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest send me unto Judah, unto the city of thy father's sepulchres, that I may build a couple more verses. You're doing well, we'll pray. And the king said unto me, watch how amazing is all of these pieces. And the king said unto me, the queen also sitting by him, for how long shall thy journey be, and when wilt thou return? So it pleased the king to send me, and I sent him a time. Verse 7. Moreover, I said unto the king, if it please the king, let letters. He's going the next step. Look at the boldness here. Not only did the king give him the permission to go, but then he thought, let me just ask for more and see what happens here. Moreover, I said unto the king, if it please the king, let letters be given to me, to the governors beyond the river, that they may convey me over till I come into Judah. And a letter unto Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest, that he may give me timber to make beams to the gates of the palace, which pertained to the house, for the wall of the city, for the house that I shall enter in. And the king granted me according to the good hand of my God upon me. Lord, I love you tonight. Thank you for your word. God, thank you for Nehemiah. God, I pray that you reach out to this crowd tonight. And God, you touch the hearts of many Nehemiahs. I pray that you help them. God, that they would rise in their own lives and build, God, to what they're called to do, Lord. And I pray tonight that you help me to challenge their hearts. God, use this. I need you so badly, Lord. And I've tried to settle on this message in my mind, but God, I want what you want tonight. Help me to challenge these young people now. And I love you and I praise you, God. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Everybody in here tonight, you are called to the work of the Lord. And I realize here that Nehemiah, in his situation, the work of the Lord for him was that he was to restore the walls there back in his home country. And he did this. Believe it or not, there was a great plan that was put forth, and this is kind of what Nehemiah is known for. There in the book of Nehemiah, they broke people out amongst the wall. They gave everybody a position and said, you restore the wall here, you here, here at the gates. And they did it. And 52 days later, they had rebuilt those walls. And it was a great and an amazing story. But in this, what I want you to understand is that there are some players in the story. And I'm going to get to them in just a moment. But can I say this by way of introduction? When it comes to the work of the Lord, I want you to hear about 3 people that are in the work of the Lord. Here's the first one. The first player is this. There are those that are deconstructionists. Not constructionists. These are the ones that are tearing down the work of the Lord. I don't know if you've noticed yet, but you are living in a day and age, teenagers. You better begin to understand where you stand on your beliefs. Because here's the deal. As soon as you hit that 18 mark and you land in that secular college classroom, what they are going to try to do is they are going to try to deconstruct what has been built in your mind when it comes to the work of God. They're going to try to tear it down with the Big Bang Theory. And they're going to try to tear it down and say, listen, this is pride in your being hateful. That's not the case. Listen to me. We care about them. I'm not here to tear down their pride. I'm not here to attack them as a person. I'm going to let them know that their ways are sending them to heaven. And I don't say that lightly, but I want you to understand this, is that those here in this world that we live in, they are deconstructing. And if you are not careful, you will find them deconstructing in your mind just who God is. Can I tell you why at your age, we are pushing you to read the Bible. We are pushing you to read the Bible at 15, get out of here. Those that try to deconstruct and tear down the walls that God's built around your life, young person, they are easily doing it to many young people that grow up in great youth groups just like yours. When it comes to the work of God, the first people is this: those who try to deconstruct, tear down. That's the enemy. Now, young person, here's number 2 in the work of God. These are the obstructionists. So you have those that completely tear it down, but you know who else there is? Are these people? Those that just try to get in the way.
Yeah. Right. Come on now.
Can I say this clearly? Here we go. Everybody hold on. It's teen camp preaching time. Amen? When you sit in the dorm at teen camp and you have wicked music on your phone, you are an obstructionist. Amen? Listen to me. When you sit in the dorms and you talk about things you should not be talking about, you are becoming an obstructionist. You are obstructing God working in their lives if that person buys into the garbage you're trying to pass along with. When it comes to the work of God, I never want to get up. I never want to get to heaven, stand before God and say, hey, you were nothing but an obstruction when it came to the work of God. And young person, please, right off the bat, this is a good night to evaluate just who you are in the youth group.
Yes.
How was it when you were driving to teen camp? You sitting in that 4th row back from the driver, and man, you had that cell phone there, and you lean over and you say, hey, check this out. Come on, man. You are obstructing what God wants to do at teen camp in the life of that other person. And when it comes to the work of God, there are those, yes, who completely tear it down. They hate God. But then there's those that, listen to me, they're hanging around the work of God, but they're doing nothing but obstructing other people from getting into the work of God. Listen, I've seen teen camp where people came to this altar, they've been called to the mission field. I've seen a teen camp in this stage where young men have gotten up and they've said this: God's called me to preach. I've seen a teen camp where people have surrendered their lives to all kinds of different things. God forbid you or I, one of us, obstruct that person from getting from God what they needed from the Lord this week. Amen. Hi, welcome to teen camp. How you guys doing? I'm Brother Jason. Okay. I strongly caution you: do not be an obstructionist. God's trying to work on people's lives. He's trying to build on their lives. He's got great callings in their lives. Watch your mouth in the ping pong room. God's trying to work on their lives. God's trying to work on their hearts. God's putting a calling on their life. Be careful when you're sitting around the fire pit tonight doing, I almost said schmoes, s'mores. Be careful what comes out of your mouth, because it may land in someone else's.
Well,
some of you get that in just a moment, okay? Hey, listen to me. Don't be an obstructionist. Everybody say obstructionist. Because can I tell you, it easily happens at teen camp. Does everybody understand that this is spiritual? Look here, and look up here, girls. This teen camp is spiritual. Brother Jason, why do you say that? Because I want you to understand the severity of what God is doing this week. Amen? Amen. And I want to caution you young men. I want to caution you young ladies about being the one that may obstruct God working in the lives of one of your friends. Because here's the deal. It may be that this week, that very friend of yours that lends their ear to you all the time, God may be about to do something great. And if they've been sitting in the dorm listening to your garbage, you just may be the one who obstructs that young person. You say, how's that possible, Brother Jason? Because when they're listening to your wicked music down there, they come up into the service, and all they can do while these ladies are up here singing about what a beautiful name it is, you know what they're doing? They got that little tune in their head that they just heard down at the door. That's an obstructionist. These are my kickoff sub-points, and I'll move on to my other points. And I won't be long. It is warm. I understand. Look here. I caution you sitting in that seat, talking to the person next to you while the preaching's going on. I highly caution that. Highly caution that. As I've sat in seats just like that, where God took a portion of Scripture, God took one thing that preacher said and nailed my heart on it. And when God did that, listen to me, it changed my life in some way. And I encourage you, as you sit in that seat, don't be an obstructionist. There's the deconstructionist. There's the obstructionist. Here's what we want to be. We want to be constructionists. We want to be those building up the work of God. Man, I tell you, look here. I want to be. I want to be, man. I want God to use me just like He used Nehemiah. That man, when the work of God needs to be done, God will look down and say, hey, there's one that's caught some breaks, man. Nehemiah caught some breaks, and he's living in the palace. Man, he's working with the king. But can I tell you what? His heart yearned to do the work of God that God needed him to do. God wanted him to do. Listen to me. God called him to do. Nehemiah stepped in that role and said, I'll be it. Hey, you'd be amazed, one person stepping up, how others will follow. You'd be amazed, that young lady who stands up in her Christian school, that young lady who stands up in her secular school, that young man who stands up in his secular job. Those that will follow that Nehemiah who says, hey, let's build. Let's build. I'll be that. There's something about one that rises up. It says, let's build whatever it takes. Let me give you a couple of things about Nehemiah tonight. First thing is this. You ever feel like your problems prohibit you? First thing I want you to understand about this, Nehemiah's problems throughout this situation, they were growing. Hey, listen to me. They didn't back off. Watch this. Go to chapter 2, verse 10. Nehemiah, chapter 2, verse 10. When Sanballat, here they come, the Horonite, and Tobiah, the servant, the Ammonite, heard of it, it grieved them. They did not like what Nehemiah was doing. No. Here's the enemy. When they heard of it, it grieved them exceedingly that there was come a man to seek the welfare of the children of Israel. Have you noticed, and listen to me, by the way, can I just time out? I realize that there are some groups, Ananda, I just preached for you guys. I realize that, Brother Scott, your group, I believe this is the first time you guys have probably heard me preach. I understand that. Can I say this? We are not better than anybody in the world. Amen? Everybody needs to say amen on that. I want to be careful about my spirit tonight because as I talked about even the deconstructionist, what the world is doing, I feel bad for those that are mixed up in the sin of this world. They are misguided, mistreated, and they are the tools and the toys of the devil. Their lives are disastrous. I feel for them. Listen to me. When I sit in a restaurant and I pass them a tract, when I'm somewhere and I tell someone about the Lord, my heart is broken for them. Do you understand that? So I want to be very careful about my spirit tonight as I'm preaching. When I talk about the world, I'm not talking about like a, bless God, we're independent fundamental Baptists. We are far better than them. Brother Andrew's that way, but I'm not. And we preach it in the morning. Amen. But we're not better than the world. Amen? Amen. As a matter of fact, God saw their need and they had you and I trying to reach them. But I want you to know this, is that his problem was growing. There in verse 10, you see a couple of fellas and they're upset. Watch this. Go over to Nehemiah chapter 4. Now, it's not just two fellas. Look at verse 7. But it came to pass that when Sanballat and Tobiah, there they are, and the Arabians and the Ammonites, look, he's ticked off the whole crew now. And the Ammonites and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up and that the breaches began to be stopped. Anybody could just breach the wall. Anybody could go in and attack. Now that me say this carefully. Your faithfulness to God and your problems is magnifying you in the eyes of the world. Don't quit. Amen. But my dad's not in church, and we got a lot of problems. I prayed and asked God to take those problems away. Don't quit. You have no idea how your dad's going through the same problems you're going through. And guess what? Won't be long. You might see Dad walking altar at an independent fundamental Baptist church, kneel down, hallelujah, and get saved. Keep going through your problems. Stay faithful. But they're growing problems. Yes, Nehemiah had growing problems, and as his problems got bigger and bigger, guess what he kept saying? Let's rise and build. Let's go on. Let's keep doing. You keep doing that. You keep doing that. But what if it gets too bad? Don't quit. Listen to me. Two things. Don't let your problems hinder your faith. Don't let your problems hinder your faith. Keep trusting God.
Yes, sir.
Listen to me. Keep trusting God. Not only your faith, but do not let it also hinder your faithfulness.
Good.
Keep being faithful. Young person, where's your faithfulness tonight? Well, Jason, I was at teen camp last year. Man, God stirred up my heart. Man, God did so much. Hey, how faithful have you been over this last year? Young person, stay with me. I know it's hot. It's blazing up here as well. You're doing good. Look here. Not only your faith, don't let your faith be hindered by your problems. Look here. Don't let your faithfulness be hindered by your problems. Keep staying with God. And look, your problems are going to continue to go with you throughout your life. And God can help you through those. God can take problems. I can give you tonight, I can give you problem after problem that God has intervened in me and Miss Trish's life, that God has taken from us. But can I tell you, God does allow some of those problems to stay with you. And as you go through those problems, as you're trusting God, God is going to take care of you. But I encourage you tonight, don't let those problems break your faith in God. Don't let those problems break your faithfulness to God. Keep staying faithful to the Lord.
Amen. Yes, sir.
Look here, young people. It will be worth it.
Right.
It will be worth it. I want you to know this about Nehemiah. His problems were growing. Number two thing I want you to know about Nehemiah is his life was just ordinary. He's just ordinary. Young people, do you ever look at your life and you just start thinking, how could I be the next thing that God uses? Can I tell you what, here tonight, you can be the next thing that God uses. God looked down in the middle of that mess that Nehemiah was in. Look here carefully. God looked down at the mess that Nehemiah was in. God looked at his life and said, rather than just sloughing that off, hey, you're in captivity, God could never use you to do this. Can I tell you what God did? God reached down and said, Nehemiah, you're the one that I'll use. I wish I could take you back, young people. I wish I could take you back to that little boy that grew up at the end of that little road in St. Leonard, Maryland. Brother Sean, we had such problems in our home, such issues in our home. And every time I think about all that I get to do for God now, look here. Every time I think about even helping out with a teen camp like this, that God allows me and my wife to be a part of. When I look back, Brother Josh, and I look down at that situation, what I grew up in, I never would have thought God would look down and say, that's a young man that I'll use right there. Can I tell you what God is doing? He's moving through this place tonight. He'll look down and say, Tony, I'll use you. He'll look here and look at your life and say, young lady, I'll use you. Young man, I'll use you. But you say, hey, I don't have that past pedigree. I'm not the one who, man, has all this going for me. Look here. Nehemiah was just ordinary.
Right.
What's wrong? You think you got problems? Yeah, his problems grew as he went through this situation. What, you think your life is just ordinary? I'm here to encourage you. God uses ordinary people.
Amen.
God uses ordinary people. Can I tell you what was not so ordinary about him? Make note of this. Number one, he felt a burden But is there anything inside of you that you feel burdened for the generation that you're growing up in?
Yeah, tell it. Come on.
You heard from them? Well, Charlie Tinsley and I were driving down here on Saturday. We were talking a little bit, coming out to hang up the banner. He had just been talking to another young man who was in middle school. And he asked that young man about the amount of, watch this, about the amount of homosexuality that goes on in even the middle schools. And that answer of that young man was staggering. His brother Charlie gave that to me about the middle schools. And it grows throughout high school. And can I tell you what they're doing? They are so hungry for some kind of identity and belonging that this generation that you see, and man, this Pride Month that we're in right now, all that's going on with abortion, I praise God, we're seeing some major adjustments in abortion. But can I say this? Listen to me. Those in those schools, those in your family, those people that you're looking at, you may be ordinary, but God wants you to do extraordinary things for Him in their lives. But when you look at them, you just think, hey, I'm an ordinary person. I'll never be the one to touch that life. I'll never be the one to be used by God. Young person, listen to me tonight. Do you even feel the burden to go after that? But it's going to take that young person who says, God, give me a burden. Give me a burden. Do you feel the burden in this dark time? Nehemiah did. He might have been ordinary, but God used him in an extraordinary way. Why? Because he felt the burden. Not only did he feel the burden, but can I tell you what is a good place? Listen to me, young person, get this. He found favor with God. Amen. And if that don't make sense to you, listen to me tonight. Young men, favor with God is where you just have a sad face one day, and next thing you know, 10 minutes later, the king's writing you letters saying, what you want, buddy? Here's a blank check. Get anything you want. Can I tell you what that is? That is favor with God. That's where God is doing something. Hey, and I'm here to encourage you is this. Tonight, whatever God wants to do in your heart, the favor that God wants to give you in life, that's where mom and dad look at you and say, man, there's something different about you. That's where people at your school say, man, there's something different about you. They want to know why. Can I tell you what that is? That is God giving you favor where people see something in you that's way different than anything they have. I would beg God for His favor. I would beg God, God, give you that influence. Not only did he feel the burden, he found the favor. But man, listen to me, he faced the fear. Don't cower, young person. Don't cower. I realize that in a day and age, in this day and age, that you may feel like, man, I'll be penalized by anybody if I stand up and, man, I stand for the Lord if I do this, that, or the other. Young person, I'm here to tell you is this. Listen to me. Whatever that fear is that you're scared of, face it. Go through it. And because, listen to me, this could have gone any way with this king. It could have gone any way. But what ends up happening here is as he faced that fear with that king, as he moved forward, he just thought, God, I'm going to make this request. When he did it, it was the favor of God that blessed this young man as he faced that fear. Well, I'll never be a Nehemiah. Can I tell you what Nehemiah was? Nehemiah was nothing but ordinary. Is that how you feel in your life? Well, God could never use me to do such and such. Is that how you feel in your life? Listen to me. God is looking for that ordinary person He wants to use to do great and mighty things. You might have had those problems that followed you. You might have had a life that was ordinary. But what changed everything? Come on, Paul. Come to the piano if you would. Sing anything if you would. You're doing well. Stay with me tonight. He had problems that kept going with him. He was nothing but ordinary. But I want you to get this. He was willing to give whatever it takes. Young person, I want you to look. Teenagers and new man, I gave you a little bit of this. About a week and a half ago as I'm going into teen camp. But what's the last word? Go ahead, Paul. What's the last word in that setting? Whatever it is. Don't even need to say it out loud, but I want you to just start processing this for just a moment. Whatever it takes. Can I tell you that that is a very open statement? And as I look at ordinary faces, God wants to do something extraordinary with your life. I realize that many times when we look at this, teenagers, listen tonight, my heart's heavy for you. I realize the problems that you go through. You may not feel like you can ever be a Nehemiah. What I encourage you is this. A young person that will come to this altar this week and just say, God, I want to rise. I want to build. I may be ordinary. I may have this set of issues, these problems that I have. You may want to look at those bits and pieces, but you know what all God wants? God just wants your surrender. And can I give you a great statement that you can make to him even tonight? Just like God heard the prayer of Nehemiah, and God used him in a powerful way. Boys, can I give you a great statement that you can say to God tonight, and you'd be shocked at what God can do in your life? Here's the statement you can take right to the Lord tonight. God, I'm telling you, whatever it takes. Here's my life. Whatever it takes. There's a lot of faith behind that statement. There's a lot of, God, I don't know what happens next. But I lived in a little town in Maryland. Today, I live in a little town of Marion, North Carolina. There's been a lot of taking that God has done in me and my wife's life. I can tell you all about it. But can I tell you why he took those things? God took my daddy when I was a little boy. God took my daddy. When God took my daddy passed away. Thank God he was saved 3 years before he died. But when my daddy died, my mom remarried. Death, never a good thing. It's a bad thing. I'm bothered. Today was about Brother Matt and his family. When I go to funerals, I just weep. Because throughout my childhood, I just felt the trauma of losing my dad. God took my dad. But when my mom remarried my stepdad, see, it was him that moved us to the county next door. Did y'all want to see? Just almost got hit by a tractor. Did y'all see that? At least it didn't spit in my mouth, thank God. Daddy passes away. Mama remarries. And it was that stepdad, Coach Chase, that moved us to a little town called La Plata, Maryland. Just north, look up here. We're good. Look up. Just north of La Plata, Maryland, was a little Christian school called Southern Maryland Christian Academy. Just happened to be, watch this, out of 3 Christian schools that we visited in that area, just happened to be, we went to Southern Maryland Christian Academy, and it just happened to be, when I was 16, 17 years old, a little girl named Trisha McGraw walked down the hallway one day. It all started with a death. It started with pain and hurt. A lot of trauma in our home throughout those years. Lots of problems. But all of those problems led to me being hurt. And guess what? She used to come down here to a little place called Marion, North Carolina. And all of those problems, a lot more steps there. I'm sorry, my youth group's heard that story 1,000 times. There's 1,001 for you. But I always want to trace those steps for everyone in this room because I want you to understand this. It started with problems and issues, but an ordinary person. And all these years later, listen, that trauma was a good thing for us. See, that's what God will do with your life. God will take all those issues. God will take all those problems of an ordinary young person and rebuild the work of God in someone else's life. But can I tell you what it takes? It takes that young person tonight that'll just say this: God, I want to be used by you in the work of the Lord. God, here comes my statement. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.